Okay, our last little example here I want to work through is I want to throw a bunch of negative signs in because that's probably, if you're going to make a mistake with the algebra, you already know that if you're going to make a mistake with the algebra, a good chance it's going to happen with a negative sign somewhere. So I thought I'd just throw these in to make sure we're all on the same page working through the negative. So maybe what you want to do is pause now, pause the video, see if you can work this the rest of the way through. And number one, just check to make sure you get see what you get for your choice for delta, and see if that works out. So if you want to pause and work that out, you can, and then when you come back, I'll see if I can match what you did for your work. Okay, so let's see if we can match. See if I can match what you did for your work. So number one, let epsilon be greater than 0. Number two, we're going to search for delta. And the search for delta starts at the end. So absolute f of x minus L is less than epsilon. So this implies absolute, what's f of x? That's negative 2x minus 7 minus L. I got to be careful. Minus negative 1 is less than epsilon. And let's clean this up a little bit. This is negative 2x minus negative is plus, is that right? Minus negative is plus, negative 7 and 1 are negative 6. So you do actually have to do the arithmetic correctly, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but there it is. And now we're going to factor out negative 2. Our goal is to create, now be careful, when I write absolute x minus a, that's absolute x minus negative 3. So we have to be careful. That's the same thing as absolute x plus 3. So be careful with that. So when I factor out negative 2, you know you have to factor out negative 2 because we want this coefficient to be 1. So factor out the negative 2. The question is, what do you leave behind? You leave behind x. You leave behind plus 3. And just to be explicit, I'm going to rewrite that. And you should always also rewrite this. Rewrite this as absolute x minus negative 3 because that makes it explicit that I'm doing x minus a. This is x minus a. Do not leave this as plus. This is x minus negative 3, x minus a. Divide both sides. So what we have is x minus negative 3 is less than epsilon over absolute negative 2. So we choose delta to equal epsilon over absolute negative 2. Just leave it as absolute negative 2. You're going to need it here in a minute, so just go ahead and leave it in that form. And then step 3, we're going to verify that this delta does what we say it does. Start at the beginning. You've said this once, you don't need to say it over and over again. Remember what this does? This verifies x is not equal to a. So we have that established. Okay, we're out of that. X minus a, where's my number? X is negative 3. Is less than delta, where's my baby? X, epsilon over absolute negative 2. Solve for epsilon. And we can now simplify this because we've already established what we're working with. And again, you don't turn this around because this is a positive number. The absolute value needs to earn its keep. And the absolute value earns its keep, among other things, by making sure this stays as less than, no matter where you do it, whether you do it here or over here. Distribute, this is absolute negative 2x minus 6 is less than epsilon. And now we're back to our familiar game. I don't want minus 6, I want minus 7. So subtract 7, add 7. And then the first two are the piece you want for the function. That's what we want to have happen. This just adds up to whatever it adds up to, and it's stinking better add up to what we're looking for here. Which is, in this case, is plus 1. You're thinking, but Regis, I don't want, yes, this is negative 1. Remember, positive, but this isn't 1, this is negative 1. So anytime that you just watch for it, this is the first time this happened on any of our examples. If this L, the value of L is negative, this will come up to be positive, and you need to rewrite it one more time This is negative 2x minus 7. Just like we took care of the plus 3 is minus negative here, we're going to do the same thing here. Write this as minus negative 1. And now we have it explicitly written. This is absolute. This is f of x minus L is less than epsilon, and the proof is finished. So be very careful, very cautious with the negative signs. If it's going to trip something up, that is likely to be it. So be very cautious about how you work this out. And what I'll do is I will post a collection of maybe a half dozen or so of these for you to practice on. You work your way through 4, 5, or 6 of these. You should be very adept at anything I'm going to ask of you regarding the delta epsilon proof. After you get used to doing this, then we're going to take a look at, okay, what's the user-friendly version of this? And we'll go on from there. But for now, this is the delta epsilon proof that you need to be able to work through the details of, and I'll give you a practice of, like I said, about a half dozen or so of these that you can work out.